Good day, greeting students. I am very happy to meet you all again in grade 12 economics. We have been discussing about chapter number 4, which is human capital formation in India. In the previous session, we have discussed about how human resources are transformed into human capital and what are the various sources of human capital. So, in sources of human capital, we have discussed about education, health, education, health, training, migration and information. What are the various things we have discussed, children? We have discussed about education, health, training, migration and information. So what do we mean by education? How it transforms human resources to human capital? This education enables to be the human capital where we can increase our productivity. So education namala enna pannudhu? Better education, better skilled employees earn better. Their standard of living will be better than that of an uneducated employee. Fine. How does health plays an important role? A healthy employee can work better. Right, that is how health becomes a source of capital formation, human capital formation. Training. When you have recruited some employees, training them makes them better employees. Fine. So this is also very essential source of human capital. And then we have discussed about migration. So migration means what? Moving from one place to another place in search of a better working opportunity. So adoda result enava irukum? To get a higher paid job. Okay, to get a well paid job abdingirappo, that stays to be what? Migration stays to be a human capital formation. Then comes information. So what do we mean by information? The awareness that we get or the market research we do, the expenses we do for those things also leads us to productivity. நம்ம இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் கேதர் பண்ணுறதுக்காக ஸ்பெண்ட் பண்ணுற எல்லாத்தையுமே நம்ம இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட்னு சொல்கிறோம். ஸோ த எக்ஸ்பென்சஸ் தட் யூ ஹாவ் met towards the sources of capital formation is actually called investment rather than expenditures. Okay, in the previous session we have discussed till human capital. In this session, as I promised, we are starting our discussion with the differentiation between physical capital and human capital. Physical capital and human capital. What do we mean by these? So எப்படி நம்ம ஒரு physical resource physical capital மாத்துறோமோ, similarly only we transform human resources to human capital. So how we do it? What are the differences between physical capital and human capital? First thing, the decision on physical capital is done based on one's knowledge on it. ஸோ நம்ம இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணுறோம் இல்லையா, ஒரு பர்டிகுலர் ஃபீல்டில் ஒரு மெஷினரி மேலே இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணுறோன்னா இட் இஸ் பேஸ்ட் ஆன் த நாலேஜ் வி ஹாவ் ஆன் தட் பர்டிகுலர் திங். ஓகே, அதை பற்றி நமக்கு தெரிஞ்சிருக்கிற விஷயம். ஸோ the entrepreneur possesses knowledge to calculate the expected rates of returns. The ownership of physical capital is the outcome of the conscious decision of the owner. The physical capital formation is mainly an economic and technical process. This is only an economic and technical process. அப்படின்னா economically we think how much we have, how much return it will give. Technically we need to know information about it. But whereas formation of human capital, a substantial part of the human capital formation takes place in one's life when he or she is unable to decide whether it would maximize or his or her earnings. So it is partially a social process and conscious decision. ஸோ நம்ம பார்த்தோம் எஜுகேஷன் இஸ் அ சோர்ஸ் ஆஃப் ஹியூமன் கேபிட்டல். அதில் எவ்வளோ கன்ஃபியூஷன்ஸ் இருக்குது. வாட் டு ஸ்டடி, வேர் டு ஸ்டடி, அண்ட் திஸ் இஸ் நாட் ஓன்லி டிசைடட் பை மீ, நாட் ஓன்லி பேஸ்ட் ஆன் மை எக்கனாமிக் ஒரு டெக்னிக்கல் ப்ராசஸ். அது எதை பொறுத்து நடக்குது? வாட் பீப்புள் அரவுண்ட் மீ சே. Our relatives have so many of their opinions to be imposed on us. இது படிக்க வைக்கலாம், இந்த காலேஜ் பெட்டராக இருக்குது. We even think about it. நம்மளும் என்ன பண்ணுறோம்? we compare and contrast. என் ஃப்ரெண்ட் என்ன படிக்கிறாங்க, what did my senior study, how did it be useful for them, we discuss all such things, isn't it? So actually the part of human capital formation is actually a part of social process. The society takes part in it. எதுக்கு இப்போ டிமாண்ட் இருக்குது, யாருக்கு social status இருக்குது, what profession gets the social status plays an important role. And part of it is because of my conscious decision. எனக்கு என்ன படிக்க பிடிச்சிருக்கு, what do I think about my education also plays an important role. So that is also a part of human capital formation. So first point என்னமா, it is the physical capital is entirely economic and technical process. எதில் நான் இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணுங்கிறது based on the dividends based on the return I decide, and technically how much I know about the productங்கிறதையும் நான் யோசிக்கிறேன். Whereas human capital formation, part of it is done by a social process and part of it is a conscious decision of the person himself or herself. Fine. So the owner of a physical capital need not be present there, but the person, the human capital should be there to exercise that. And the physical capital use பண்றதுக்கு அந்த ஓனர் அங்கே இருக்கணுன்ற அவசியம் கிடையாது. But if you want to use the human capital, the presence of owner is required. Presence of owner is not required. Here ஸோ அந்த காரோட ஓனர் ஓட்டினா மட்டும்தான் கார் ஓடுன்னு இல்லை. whoever has the key can run the car. Fine, but the thing is you need to know how to drive the car. அந்த knowledge இருக்கணும் இல்லையா? That is the part of human capital. So you can buy books. அதை எழுதினவங்க இருந்தால் தான் புக்கை வாங்க முடியும், அதை நான் யூஸ் பண்ண முடியும்னு கிடையாது. But to get the knowledge, to acquire the knowledge from a teacher, you need the teacher there. Fine. Then human capital is intangible, physical capital is tangible. You can see the machine, you can see the vehicles, you can see the tools, but can you see knowledge and health? அவங்களோட நாலேஜையோ இல்லை அவங்களோட ஹெல்த்தையோ நம்மளால் செக் பண்ண முடியுமா? It's actually intangible. You can't see it, you can't touch it. Fine. And then the physical capital is separable from its owner, whereas human capital is not separable from its owner. ஒரு JCB நான் ஹையர் பண்ணுறேன்னா the owner does not have to come along with that. So the physical capital is separable from its owner. ஆனால் அந்த JCB ஓட்ட தெரியிற நாலேஜ் இருக்கு இல்லையா, the skill, I need the driver to do that. அவர்கிட்ட தான் அந்த ஸ்கில் இருக்குது, அப்போ அவர் தான் பண்ணணும். ஸோ இட் இஸ் இன்செப்பரபிள். ஓகே, ஒரு பெரிய வெயிட்டை தூக்கணும் அப்படின்னா you need the person who is capable of lifting it. You can't lift it alone. You need the person who can lift it. அப்படிங்கிறப்போ it is inseparable. The physical capital is separable from the owner, whereas the human capital is inseparable from the owner. Understood? And then the two forms of capital differ in terms of mobility across space. Physical capital is completely mobile between countries, whereas human capital is not perfectly mobile. எங்க வேணா எடுத்துட்டு போலாம். You can import even. Whereas human capital is not perfectly mobile. You can't move them without their own will and wish. அவங்களா போனா அது migration. You can't move them. You don't need the permission of a car to move it, but you need the permission of the driver to take him to somewhere else. Understand the difference? And depreciation. How does the depreciation happen? It is in the change of technology leads to depreciation, and change of technology makes a machine obsolete. In case of human capital, depreciation takes place with aging. Here depreciation is based on the change of technology. Here aging, but the knowledge can be transformed. The knowledge stays. It is still transformed. So you cannot completely become obsolete. நம்மள update பண்ணிட்டே இருக்கப்போ it does not become obsolete like a physical capital. Okay, human capital benefits not only the owner but also the society in general, whereas physical capital benefits only the owner, whereas human capital benefits the society even. என்னோட education saying how to produce a particular product in a particular methodங்கிறது எனக்கு மட்டும் இல்லாமல் it benefits even the society. So அந்த machineryயோட benefit stays with the owner, but the knowledge the benefit of the knowledge or the health spreads out to the society. These are the various differences between physical capital and human capital. It is given detailedly in box number 5.1. I have actually put it in simple words for you, so you can kindly take it down in your notebooks. You can copy it in your notebooks. I hope you have copied. So we will move on to the next topic, discussing about human capital and economic development. So everything we have to see how it is economically useful. Economically adu namakku eppadi work aga podhu, economically how is it going to help is a point, isn't it? That is why we are going to move our discussion towards how human capital is going to help me in economic development. How do we measure economic development? The GDP, per capita income, all those things. So let us see how human capital helps in economic development. Human capital and economic development. So as we said, it is measured through usually we measure economic development monetarily only. So measured through GDP and per capita income. Who contributes more towards GDP? A skilled healthy employee or a person contributes more to the GDP than an unskilled So where do we get more contribution? We get more contribution from a skilled employee when you compare to an unskilled employee. Adhe madri, you get more contribution from a healthy employee than an unhealthy employee. Right? So the contribution is coming more from good education and good health system. So adanala da we say that we want good education and health towards the economic growth. இது ரெண்டும் இருக்கிற கண்ட்ரியில் economic growth நல்லா இருக்கும்னு நம்ம சொல்கிறோம். So economic growth means the increase in real national income of the country. So the contribution of an educated person will be more than that of a uneducated person. So அவங்க பண்ணுற work எல்லாமே வந்து highly paid jobs இருக்கும். When you compare to people who are uneducated or unskilled, their contribution will be less. அதே மாதிரி தான் healthy and unhealthy employeeோட contribution. So unhealthy employeeயால் continuously workக்கு வர முடியாது, he can't work efficiently. அதுவே ஒரு healthy employeeயால் continuously work பண்ண முடியும். ஓகே, இப்போ நம்ம வீட்டிலையே வந்து இப்போ நம்ம when we are not feeling well, we can read only 2 pages or 3 pages. But when we are very healthy, we can finish a lesson. Right, so it is based on our health status. நம்மளோட physical health நல்லா இருந்தால் தான் your mental health will also be good. நம்ம எவ்வளோ knowledge இருக்கு, I have so many ideas, நான் இன்னைக்கு இது பண்ணும் அது பண்ணும். But when your body is not fit to do that, when your body is not cooperating with your mind, then what happens? whatever ideas you have, whatever knowledge you have, it is not being put to use if you don't have health. So just like how education is important, same way what is also important? Health is also important. So good health, good education and health, migration, training and information improves an individual's earning capacity. ஒரு பர்சனோட earning capacity எங்கேருந்து இம்ப்ரூவ் ஆகுது அப்படின்னா, when they have good health, good education, proper migration they have done, and the training, on the job, off the job training, and the information they have acquired. இது எல்லாமே என்னத்துக்கு? It helps an individual to increase his earning potential. Okay? This enhanced productivity of human beings or human capital contributes substantially not only towards increasing physical labor but also stimulates innovations and creates ability to absorb new technology. So it not only increases productivity but also stimulates innovation and helps us to absorb new technologies. So in the facilities நம்மளோட productivity மட்டும் increase பண்ணாம, it makes us to think of growth, it makes us to think of innovation, it gives new ideas, new business ideas. இதெல்லாம் என்ன பண்ணும்? It increases the GDP. It is also called growth. ஒரு கண்ட்ரியில் எவ்வளோ இன்வென்ஷன்ஸ் ஆயிருக்கு, எவ்வளோ இன்னோவேஷன்ஸ் இருக்குது, the defense mechanism we have, all these are results of innovation. Fine, that also decides our growth. Education provides knowledge to understand changes in society and scientific achievements that facilitate inventions and innovations. அதே மாதிரி educated labor force இருக்கிறப்போ you can get into new business ideas. Empirical evidence to prove that increase in human capital causes economic growth is rather nebulous. It is not exactly giving you the information because education is measured in terms of years of education. It is not measured based on the knowledge you have acquired. So measurement of education should be the knowledge acquired, not the years of schooling or modes of studying. It is not about the marks you get, it's about the knowledge you acquire. என்ன மாதிரி ஸ்கூலில் படிக்கிறோங்கிறது முக்கியம் இல்லை, வாட் இஸ் மை டீச்சர் ஸ்டூடெண்ட் ரேஷியோங்கிறது முக்கியம் இல்லை, பட் we calculate measure education like that. நம்ம எப்படி பார்க்குறோம் எஜுகேஷன் ஸ்டேட்டஸ் எப்படி பார்க்குறோம், வாட் இஸ் their டிகிரி, What is their educational qualification? எவ்வளோ வருஷம் ஸ்கூலில் இருந்திருக்காங்க? Okay, what kind of school he was in? Enrollment rates, இதெல்லாம் வச்சு தான் ஒரு கண்ட்ரியோட எஜுகேஷன் ரேஷியோவை நம்ம டிசைட் பண்ணுறோம். சேம் வே ஹெல்த், how do we measure? We have everything in statistics. Mortality rate, life expectancy rate, all these only are measured, but it does not reflect the true health status is the point. Health எப்படி measure பண்ணுறோம்? Just through the statistics we have, not the real health status of people. So அப்படி measure பண்ணுறப்ப how can you give the economic growth of a country? கொடுக்க முடியுமா? It's certainly difficult. So an analysis of improvement in education and health sectors and growth in real per capita income in both developing and developed countries shows that there is convergence in the measures of human capital, but no sign of convergence of per capita income. That is, human beings are getting developed, they are being formed. நிறைய பேர் நம்ம இப்போ கிராஜுவேட் ஆக்குறோம், literacy has improved, people are healthy, but is there an increase in per capita income? Means no. Okay, so the human capital growth is faster, but growth in per capita income is not satisfactory. Is not satisfactory. Okay, so the causality between human capital and economic growth flows in either direction. இது ஒரு சைடு போகுது, அது ஒரு சைடு போகுது. It is not like as and when human capital formation is increased, same way the economic growth also increased. No. Why? We are making doctors, we are making engineers, and where they go? They leave your country and they work in a different nation. அப்படின்னா their working, their knowledge is used for the development of another country. நம்ம countryக்கு எப்படி யூஸ் ஆகும்? Isn't it? So we saw migration, higher salaries ka migrate பண்றோம். If it is temporary, fine. Permanent அங்கே shift ஆயிட்டாங்கன்னா whatever consumption they are making in that country, that becomes that country's GDP, not our country's GDP. இல்லையா? So it is like records are saying one thing and what is happening says another thing. That is, higher income causes building of high level of human capital and vice versa. That is, high level of human capital causes growth of income. நம்ம என்ன புரிஞ்சுக்கிறோம்? When you have good income, you invest it in education or in health, and vice versa. When you are healthy, you get good income. India recognized the importance of human capital in economic growth long ago. The 7th 5-year plan says human resources development as necessarily be assigned as a key role. What does the 7th 5-year plan says? அப்போவே நம்ம human capitalக்கான need பார்த்தாச்சு. That was a long time ago, isn't it? Somewhere near 80s, 85, 86 டைமில் தான் அந்த நீடை பார்க்குறாங்க. ஸோ the 7th 5-year plan, what did it say? The human capital has necessarily be assigned a key role in any development strategy. Human capital has a key role in development strategy. Because this human capital should be used இல்லையா? Students are made into lawyers, doctors, engineers, fine. அப்போ development பற்றி யார் யோசிக்கணும்? This human capital should be thinking. Infrastructure மாற்றணுமா? Then the engineer should think about it. So இதெல்லாம் யாரோட work அப்படின்னா it is a work of human capital. Understood? So what did they say? Particularly in a country with a large population, like country like us, trained and educated on sound lines, a large population can itself become an asset in accelerating economic growth and in ensuring social change. So what else did it say? A trained large population is an asset for the country's economic growth. Our countryயோட economic growthக்கு important asset என்ன? A country where we have a large population, when you give them the sources and make them human capital, then that itself is enough for making the country into the right path, making the country a developed country. We recognized. It is difficult to establish a relation of cause and effect from the growth of human capital to economic growth, but we can see the table. என்ன சொல்லியிருக்காங்க? So the real per capita has increased over many years. Yeah, human capital formation. Crude death rate has decreased, improvement. Infant mortality rate decreased, improvement. Life expectancy birth increased, improvement. Literacy rate increased, improvement. இது எல்லாமே என்ன? As a human capital is formed, when there is an increase in human capital, it is equal to the increase in the economic growth. Creation of human capital is rise in economic growth. Understood? Two independent reports. These reports are very nice to read, but was it practiced? Is it being practiced? Abdina, I have a big doubt. Like what? These said, these reports, not recent reports, little older reports, discussed that India would grow faster due to its strength in human capital formation. What did they find? They found that India will grow very faster. India 2020. Why they said? Because of this human capital formation. Adile irukra and the strength. India is very strong with skilled labors. Okay, and health wise also we are very strong. Adha poruthu they said that, what did they say? That India will reach new heights in year 2020. So World Bank has also said once that India and the knowledge economy, leveraging strengths and opportunities, said that India should make a transition to the knowledge economy. And if it uses its knowledge as much as Ireland does, then the per capita income of India will increase from one range to another range. It further states that the Indian economy has all the key ingredients, whatever we need for creation of human capital and using that human capital towards economic growth. We have all the key ingredients. It is us who should put them properly into practice and get the fruits of it. Okay, so we have democracy, we have skilled labors, we have the technological infrastructure, we have all the kind of research and development faculties with us, So all this should lead us towards a huge economic growth. Was the finding, or was the presumption that was made, but how far it is true, you should analyze and tell me. India has a knowledge economy. The Indian software industry has been showing an impressive record over the past decade. Entrepreneurs, bureaucrats and politicians are now advancing views about how India can transform itself into a knowledge based economy. So nammaloda tertiary sector valara we get into a knowledge based economy. So inga agriculture taandi we are working towards knowledge. The schools, the colleges, the IT sector, the software technology, the science, all this says that we are acquiring knowledge related to this. So this knowledge based economy is definitely going to take us to new heights. That is what is called as India as a knowledge economy. So it is compared with Ireland, who use their knowledge economy very well. Villages using email, which are cited as examples of such transformation. So how do you point out those transformation? It is how nowadays technology has reached even the villages, health has reached the villages, education has reached the villages. So education or health or reach arapo, obviously they get the awareness, and the knowledge based economy is in its birth stage. Fine. We will finish this session with a small discussion about human capital and human development. What is the difference between human capital and human development? Is what this discussion is about. So we are going to discuss about human capital and are these the same? Human capital nalu human development nalu onnu dana? No, these are different. And how they are different? Human capital considers education and health as means to increase labor productivity. How does it see health and education? Human capital sees it as means to increase labor productivity. Abdina, we think that when education is there, they can work better, they can earn better. Healthy arkapo, they can work better, they can earn better. So it is seeing only the earning point of view, whereas human development is based on that the idea that education and health are integral to human well-being. It is focusing on the human well-being. Avangalukku nalladhu. Human development is when we think health and education are integral parts of human well-being. How much difference is there? ஸோ இங்கே நம்ம மானிட்டரி சோர்ஸாக பார்க்குறோம். we just see them as like education ஏன் கொடுக்குறோம், அவங்க பெட்டராக earn பண்ணணும். எதுக்கு ஹெல்த்தியாக இருக்கணும்னு நினைக்கிறோம், பெட்டராக earn பண்ணணும். whereas இங்கே என்ன யோசிக்கிறோம், ஹியூமன் டெவலப்மெண்ட்டில் என்ன யோசிக்கிறோம், these are parts of human well-being. அவன் நல்லா இருக்கணும்னா படிக்கணும். for his life he should be healthy. Fine. Human capital treats human beings as a means to an end, the end being the increase in productivity. Means to end. Human capital sees the end is productivity. எதுக்காக இதெல்லாமே பண்ணுறோம், productivity. What does human development say? It sees that it is it is seen that it is an ends in themselves. அவங்களோட பெனிஃபிட்காக, இது productivity increase பண்ணுறதுக்காக. For them, for human development, it is the benefit for themselves. அவங்க நல்லா இருக்கணுங்கிறதுக்காக they should be educated and they should be healthy ன்னு சொல்கிறோம். Fine. In the human development perspective, human beings are ends in themselves. Human welfare should be increased through investments. So இவங்க என்ன கான்சென்ட்ரேட் பண்ணுறாங்க, the welfare through investments in education and health. Basic education and basic health are important in themselves. அவங்களுக்கு எழுத படிக்க தெரிஞ்சிருக்கணும், that is their beneficial. அவங்க ஹெல்த்தியாக இருக்கணும், பேசிக் ஹெல்த் எவ்வளவோ அது அந்த அளவுக்கு இருக்கணும். அப்படின்னா they should not get this normal fever, அந்த வேக்சினேஷன் எல்லாமே for their basic health. Therefore, in such a view, every individual has a right to get basic education and basic health care. That is, every individual has a right to be literate and lead a healthy life. So what are we meaning by it? We mean that human capital sees human beings just for productivity. அவங்களுக்கு எஜுகேஷன் கொடுக்கறதோ ஹெல்த் கொடுக்கறதோ எதுக்குன்னா, it is for productivity, to increase their productivity. But when you talk about human development, it thinks about their well-being. அவங்களுக்கு எஜுகேஷன் கொடுக்கறதோ இல்லை அவங்க பேசிக் ஹெல்த் ஸ்டேட்டஸில் இருக்கணும்னு நினைக்கிறதோ, it is for their benefit. They, all the human beings should be literate and they all have a right to lead a healthy and happy life. இங்கே நம்ம ரைட்டை பற்றி பேசல, ஹியூமன் கேபிட்டலில் we never thought about the right. Human development is basically about the rights that they can get. Everybody has deserved to be healthy and deserve to be literate. Fine. That is all about human capital and human development. So in this chapter, what is pending means state of human capital formation in India. இந்த அளவுக்கு improve ஆயிட்டு இருக்கு. What are the various steps, programs, policies undertaken by the government, and then we have the discussion about future prospects. Education sector in India is a deleted topic, so I want you to quickly go through of what it is by yourself. So in the next session we will be meeting to discuss these two topics and to finish this chapter. Fine, these may be small chapters but very very important to understand, so kindly go through them properly and understand them clearly. If at all you have any doubts, please feel free to reach me out and get your doubts clarified. Thank you and may you all have a wonderful day today.